Well, hey there. Good morning, LEGO fans. Happy Wednesday to you. Today is November 20th, 2024. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I know I am because it's a chance to talk some LEGO, and I love Wednesdays because it is a wild card Wednesday, and it's a chance for me to talk your ear off about an interesting subject, either a theme or investing or just questions. And today, I thought it would be really interesting to analyze what is the true cost of Lego. And turns out that's a fairly complicated question to ask. What it came down to is lately, it seems like every time I go to the Lego store and I go to buy a Lego set, I'm just like, darn it, it's like this huge hit on my wallet. And I'm like, Lego is just, it's more expensive than it's ever been. And how am I going to keep buying Lego sets or keep playing in this hobby that I know and love? Because every time I look, a set's like $400, a set's $500, a set is $800. Like, when are we going to have our first $1,000 Lego set? I feel like it's around the corner. And so I started to ask the simple question of why, and has it always been like this? And does the way I feel emotionally about my wallet match the reality of what we pay for in Lego? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So there you go. So let's get right into it. The true cost of Lego. Well, let's just tell you up front, Lego, the Lego Corporation, it's a $15 billion company. It's nothing to sneeze at. It is the largest toy company in the world. And it's interesting to think about that it's a $15 billion company, given that 20 years ago, they were about to go bankrupt. They were not solvent. They were not making money for their shareholders, right? They were gonna go bankrupt. And so they closed factories. They stopped making certain themes. They really pared down their product lines, and they focused on certain IPs like Harry Potter, Bionicle, Star Wars, and generally, like, they started to build back up, built a better business model, and started to make money. It's really what happened, right? And has really in the last 10 years just really exploded in growth, right? And so here's some directly from Lego. Here are some statistics on the money that they have made for Lego, right? And so this is H1 2024. I'm assuming that's the first half of 2024. Lego in revenue made $4.37 billion, okay? And that is a 13% gain from the same period in 2023. That's pretty impressive. Operating profit, like, what are they actually working with in the first half of 2024? Their operating profit was $1.14 billion with a B dollars, which is a 26% gain from 2023. So if you're the CEO or if you're a shareholder in Lego, you're feeling pretty solid about your company. And let's never forget, Lego is a large corporation, right? Its goal first is not to bring me joy with a Lego set. Their goal is to create profit and revenue for the people who have stake in Lego. Like, it's the reality of it, right? So let's just not beat around that bush and pretend like they're doing this just for me. And so here's what happened. A couple of years ago, this really came to a head, and people really started to analyze Lego and the profits that they are making. And it's like, the question is, are they price gouging us? Because in 2022, end of the summer 2022, Lego announced they were doing a major price hike across all themes. And people, we were absolutely up in arms because your UCS AT-AT that was like $800 was suddenly $850. And it was like, it's already so much money. Now you're telling me I got to pay more money? Are you kidding me, Lego? What are you doing? And so Lego basically put out their press release that they cited rising costs of raw materials, labor, transportation as part of the price increases. And across the board, the average price increase for a product was just under 5%. And that doesn't sound like much, honestly, right? But it's still, for every $100, you're paying $5 more for a particular Lego product. And people started looking into that, and you're like, Lego, are you price gouging us or what? And so looking more into sets at the time, there was, research going on what it was happening to each individual set. The average price increase was 5%. But some of your bigger sets and some of the amazing sets that people love, like, for example, 71043 Hogwarts Castle, the 6,000 piece behemoth that we all know and love, that set had a price increase of 17.5%. The Ideas Treehouse, another amazing set, that set jacked up 25%. So it was like, instead of paying $200 for a set, you're paying $240 for a set. And that was nothing to sneeze at, right? On something that was already expensive, something that was already a consumable, something that we don't need, something that we want, right? The typewriter, the Lego typewriter, beautiful set. That was a 25% price hike. Hogwarts Icons, the one where the owl, Hedwig, is the one sitting on the books and the letter to Hogwarts. It's got the frog and the glasses and the wand and everything. That went up 20%. And so people, I think, were justifiably mad. And honestly, in looking at this, they were mad because of how Lego was doing this. It was a giant blast, right? Versus a slow trickle. They just turned on that faucet full force and let us know we were going to be paying more money for Lego. And then they also cited this is what cost them to make Lego. Lego is high-grade ABS food-grade plastic, right? It is a nice quality product. If you go build some janky Mega Block set, you'll know Lego is a high-quality building block product that they put out. There is no substitution. There are knockoffs that definitely try, but the grip and the clutch power of those are not as good, and it's just an inferior product. And so it does cost them money to do that. In 2020, they reported they spent $1.8 billion on R&D. It seems like a lot to me. And they also reported that they spent $500 million on all their licensing fees. So, you see this Adidas, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. If you are watching on YouTube, I appreciate you no matter how you're tuning in, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, or YouTube is great. But if you're seeing me on YouTube, you can see I have the Lego Adidas shoe next to me. And it's a cool set, right? I love the Adidas shoe. The packaging was actually a shoebox. How cool was that? But Lego couldn't just build this set. They couldn't just make this and sell it. They had to get a licensing agreement with Adidas to put this set out. And so Adidas is getting some royalties. They're getting money from this. And so they do this with a lot of IPs, right? If you look behind me, if you're watching YouTube, you can see every Star Wars set behind me. It's a licensed theme. Harry Potter, Star Wars, Adidas, Marvel, DC, you name it. All of these sets that we all love to get our hands on, it costs Lego more money to put those out. And so that definitely costs them money as well. But that in and of itself, I'm like, is that enough to say a justifiable price hike? And do we pay more for Lego? What is the true cost of Lego? And so I decided, instead of thinking about it emotionally, I would just literally look at it from an analytical sense, right? If you go to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, you can just put in an inflation calculator. So you can see how much your dollar that you have today in November of 2024, you can see how much your dollar is worth pretty much for the last 100 years. And so I thought it would be an interesting little exercise to do that for old Lego sets. And then also to see how much did that Lego set cost back in the day, and how much would that same Lego set cost me if that Lego set had been released today. And so I went ahead and went way back, right? I wanted to start actually with 375, the Lego Yellow Castle, but I couldn't find any reliable sources on how much it actually was sold for. I'm guessing around $45, but if you know, feel free to leave me a comment below. And so since I couldn't find that, I did the next best thing. I found set 6075, the yellow castle that was released in 1981, just 3 short years later. So that set was 767 pieces, a huge set for the time. It was $48. And so if you're doing price per piece, which I have said this before, price per piece isn't necessarily the best metric for Lego. When you're trying to find out, is it a good value? Really, actually, weight is probably a better metric, but price per piece is just an easier way to look at it. And so that's what I'm going to do here today. But price per piece on that set would be around 6.25 cents per piece. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the math. $48 back in 1981 would be the same as you spending $174 today. And so, if you were spending $174 today on that set for 767 pieces, the price per piece is actually 22.68 cents per piece. That's uber expensive, y'all. You don't hardly pay anything past 15 cents per piece on a Lego set today. And so to look at that set, if you were buying that set today, that's how much you would be spending. And so let's keep playing this game. Let's move forward to the 90s, right? The set 6989, the Mega Core Magnetizer from Lego M-Tron, one of the first Lego sets I ever owned, a beautiful set. It had 503 pieces, again, big Lego set for the time. It was $60, and that equates to 11.9 cents per piece. But $60 in 1990, well, that's actually $145 in 2024. So would you pay $145 for a 500-piece Lego set? I know I wouldn't, because that's 28, almost 29 cents per piece. That's crazy. Lego was expensive back then too, turns out. Let's fast forward to 2000. You know what? Hey, here we go. First license UCS set. Star Wars, we know we're going to pay more money. Okay, so set 7191, the UCS X-Wing Fighter. $150 back in 2000. Okay, it was 1,300 pieces, which that's 11.5 cents per piece at that time. $150 today is $274. $274 is 21.1 cents per piece for a 1,300 piece Lego set. These are absurd prices. Absurd prices. But yeah, you know, that's a licensed set, Steve. Let's look at non-licensed sets. All right, fine. Set 6091. King Leo's Castle from 2000. One of the last castle sets that we were going to get for a very long time. Beautiful, beautiful looking set. It was 529 pieces. The set was $90. $90 back in 2000 for 529 Lego pieces. That is a terrible, terrible deal. That's 17 cents per piece back in 2000. If you equate that to today, that's $164 or 31 cents per piece. 31 cents. It's absurd. Like, no one would actually buy a $90 529 piece Lego set today unless it was some sort of weird exclusive. Not just some Lego set sitting on the shelf. Legos, turns out, it's always been expensive. In fact, it's been even more expensive back in the past than we are paying for Lego now. Let's keep playing the game. Let's go forward a little bit. One of the greatest sets to ever be made, 10179, the UCS Millennium Falcon. The year is 2008. It is $500, and $500 is certainly nothing to sneeze at, especially in 2008. But it does have 5,197 pieces, which at the time was the biggest set ever made, so you got to own it, right? Well, let's do the math, 9.6 cents per piece. And $500 in 2008 is $750 in 2024. 2024? I think I said that all right. In 2024. A 5,000 piece set nowadays for $750? It sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's what the sets go for nowadays. So it really, there's not a price increase at all. Taj Mahal, and that's a licensed set, y'all. Let's do a different one. Taj Mahal, same year, 2008, even more pieces, 5,922 pieces. This is a screaming deal at only $300. That's 5 cents per piece. That is an incredible deal, right? Almost 6,000 pieces for $300. $300 in 2008 is $435 now. Okay, so 6,000 pieces for $435. That's 7 cents a piece. That's right in line with the sets that we do now that are not licensed sets. So that's spinning on it, right? You're like, okay, what does that really mean? Well, let's look at a set like this year, the Natural History Museum. It's 4,000 pieces and it is $300. Kind of similar, not quite as close, but definitely a more diverse build, definitely more unique pieces, better color scheme than Taj Mahal. The Taj Mahal had a lot of small pieces and a lot of the same pieces, which definitely could keep its price down. The Natural History Museum now goes for $300. That's 7.47 cents per piece. But if you took that back to 2000, right? If you go back 25 years ago, that would actually only have cost you $170. That's 4 cents a piece. Cheaper than anything they were doing back then. Like when you think about it from that regard, what we are getting now is a better value for arguably a more superior product than what we were getting 25 years ago. I mean, there's the math. Barad-dûr. Let's do one last one. Another licensed set that came out this year. A beautiful Lord of the Rings set, right? Set 10333. Barad-dûr is 5,471 pieces. It is $460. Okay? Definitely expensive, but let's go back. Well, that's 8.4 cents per piece. But if we go back 25 years to 2000, that would only be $250. $250 is 4.6 cents per piece. There's no way they would have released a 5,471 piece set for $250. In 2008, they were releasing the same size of set for $500. So that's what I'm trying to get to you is they screwed up in 2022 with their delivery and their rollout of bigger price hikes, especially post-COVID. People were trying to figure out life back then. Honestly, it was a poor business move by Lego, but as for strategy, that is, with not getting people angry. But honestly, if you really look at the numbers, what we pay now is what we've paid then. And we actually, again, pay less now as far as value goes, and we are getting a better build, better instructions, better box, better overall quality product. And you cannot argue that the sets that we get now are far superior to anything we got back in 2000 or 1990, definitely 1980. I mean, yeah, there are more molds and those type of things, but did you know to make a Lego mold is at least $500,000 and upwards to $2 million, depending on what that mold is? It's not cheap to do. And so Lego as a company, honestly, they didn't even have to say rising prices of transportation and raw materials and all that. They could literally just go with inflation. And that is really, if you look at it nowadays, that's what they're doing. They learned from 2 years ago. They're not announcing any more price hikes. They are just taking each set and they are marking it up just a little bit more. And so, yes, it hurts my heart. I'm here, and I want to put this out there. I'm not protecting Lego. I'm not saying Lego is doing the right thing by raising prices. I absolutely hate when prices go up. Like, absolutely hate it. Like, it's affecting my wallet, right? But that's the emotional side of me. Logically, I understand that this is a business. And when I look at it, I realize now I'm actually getting a better deal than I did back then, even though it is costing me more money, if that makes sense. So, like I say, it's a big rabbit hole, definitely a bone of contention, definitely something that people are always talking about with Lego because it's expensive. But from what I hope you gather today is that it's kind of always been expensive. It's definitely not the cheapest toy out there, but you are getting a really quality product. So you can argue that in some regard, you can pay less for a cheaper product on Temu, but feel free to tune in on YouTube. You can see what kind of Temu stuff I bought recently, if it is actually worth it. Because 9 times out of 10, it's not. It's not. And Lego is giving us quality products. And at the end of the day, they have to make money. They have to make money. They have to stay profitable for us to continue getting good quality sets that reach a diverse number of needs that people want. For every person who's a Star Wars fan, there is a City fan out there. For every Ideas fan, there is a Harry Potter fan. For everybody who loves castles, there's a whole group out there that love undersea stuff. Like, Lego is trying to meet those needs, and it costs money to do that. So anyway, like I say, I appreciate you coming along on this one. Leave me some comments down below. What do you think? Is my math just totally wrong? Like, am I thinking about it wrong? Do you agree with me that yes, it hits the wallet hard, but no, really, when we look at it logically, we're not paying any more than we ever have? I'm interested in your thoughts on this one. So, but anyway, with that, I hope you keep tuning in. Friday should be a good one, reviewing a very big set. I'm excited about that. But yeah, until Friday, I guess I'll just have to catch you on the next one. How it's supposed to